Hey, it's time to hydrate.
Best kept secret in sports. No longer a secret.
Hey y'all, Jeff Good here, Broad Street Baking Company, Jackson State University's favorite bakery, right here in the heart of Jackson, I-55 Northside Drive in Banner Hall. Why are we the JSU Tigers' favorite bakery? That's why. Because you can get custom-made JSU Tiger paraphernalia cookies here anytime you want. Sugar cookies, delicious, right at Broad Street. Come and try it. Go Tigers.
And welcome into the pregame show. And of course, we preview our upcoming.
Well, I got it. I got it.
Of course I got it.
I got it right after work.
That's right. I got the COVID-19 vaccine.
Because self-care. I got it because I wanted to get back to my normal.
I was one of the first ones that got it. And now, I'm helping others get theirs.
So let's get it together. Sign up and get your vaccine today, and let's stop COVID in its tracks. Visit IGotItMS.com.
We are all relentless in our pursuit to get better.
I honestly just need more accuracy and more distance.
Okay. Contact is solid. Spin rate's a little out of control, costing you a lot of yardage. Let's make some adjustments here. And I'm going to move the weight. So I put it all the way back in the heel. Allow the club face to square up a little easier for you.
Love that one.
You know you can get better. We know we can help.
It's Pink Friday 2021, and here's a message from one of our survivors.
Hello, I'm Robin Roberts, and I am happy to join the American Cancer Society in the fight against breast cancer. As a breast cancer survivor and proud Mississippi native, I'm honored to support Pink Friday, a fundraiser for breast cancer awareness. We all have a part to play in this fight, and by working together, one day we are determined to find a cure for breast cancer. Get your tickets now to support this wonderful event.
Okay, so how long have you been coming to Stan's?
Since 1987. I've forever loved Stan's Burgers because the people, they're real people. They help the community and their family own and operate. And the food, the quality, and service has always been phenomenal. And anywhere I'm at, I always recommend people to them. It's great food, and you get enough love for your money. If you need a good place to eat and you want a good environment to support the community and support the effort of the Jackson community, I recommend Stan's Super Burger to you because, like I said,
Well, I got it.
I got it.
You already know. I got the COVID-19 vaccine. I got it because you can only do prom once.
I got it because my team got big buzz this year.
I got it because my white needs all the help he can get.
I got it because this school year is going to be awesome. I got it because I missed my friends.
Sign up to get your vaccine today. Find out how at IGotItMS.com.
Hey, it's time to hydrate.
Best kept secret in sports. No longer a secret.
Hey y'all, Jeff Good here, Broad Street Baking Company, Jackson State University's favorite bakery, right here in the heart of Jackson, I-55 Northside Drive in Banner Hall. Why are we the JSU Tigers' favorite bakery? That's why. Because you can get custom-made JSU Tiger paraphernalia cookies here anytime you want. Sugar cookies, delicious, right at Broad Street. Come and try it. Go Tigers.
Well, I got it. I got it.
Of course I got it.
I got it right after work.
That's right. I got the COVID-19 vaccine.
Because self-care. I got it because I wanted to get back to my normal.
I was one of the first ones that got it. And now I'm helping others get theirs.
So let's get it together. Sign up and get your vaccine today, and let's stop COVID in its tracks. Visit IGotItMS.com.
We are all relentless in our pursuit to get better.
I honestly just need more accuracy and more distance.
Okay, contact is solid. Spin rate's a little out of control, costing you a lot of yardage. Let's make some adjustments here, and I'm going to move the weight. So I put it all the way back in the heel. Allow the club face to square up a little easier for you.
Love that one.
You know you can get better. We know we can help.
It's Pink Friday 2021, and here's a message from one of our survivors.
Hello, I'm Robin Roberts, and I am happy to join the American Cancer Society in the fight against breast cancer. As a breast cancer survivor and proud Mississippi native, I'm honored to support Pink Friday, a fundraiser for breast cancer awareness. We all have a part to play in this fight, and by working together, one day we are determined to find a cure for breast cancer. Get your tickets now to support this wonderful event.
Okay, so how long have you been coming to stand?
Since 1987. I've forever loved Stan's Burgers because the people, they're real people. They help the community, and their family own and operate. And the food, the quality, and service has always been phenomenal. And anywhere I'm at, I always recommend people to them. It's great food, and you get enough love for your money. If you need a good place to eat and you want a good environment to support the community and support the effort of the Jackson community, I recommend Stan's Super Burger to you because, like I said,
Well, I got it.
I got it.
You already know. I got the COVID-19 vaccine. I got it because you can only do prom once.
I got it because my team got big buzz this year.
I got it because my white needs all the help he can get.
I got it because this school year is going to be awesome. I got it because I missed my friends.
Sign up to get your vaccine today. Find out how at IGotItMS.com.
Hey, it's time to hydrate.
Best kept secret in sports, no longer a secret.
Hey y'all, Jeff Good here, Broad Street Baking Company, Jackson State University's favorite bakery, right here in the heart of Jackson, I-55 Northside Drive in Banner Hall. Why are we the JSU Tigers' favorite bakery? That's why. Because you can get custom-made JSU Tiger paraphernalia cookies here anytime you want. Sure.
Well, I got it. I got it.
Of course I got it.
I got it right after work.
That's right. I got the COVID-19 vaccine.
Because self-care. I got it because I wanted to get back to my normal.
I was one of the first ones that got it. And now I'm helping others get theirs.
So let's get it together. Sign up and get your vaccine today, and let's stop COVID in its tracks. Visit IGotItMS.com.
We are all relentless in our pursuit to get better.
I honestly just need more accuracy and more distance.
Okay, contact is solid. Spin rate's a little out of control, costing you a lot of yardage. Let's make some adjustments here, and I'm going to move the weight. So I put it all the way back in the heel. Allow the club face to square up a little easier for you.
Love that one.
You know you can get better. We know we can help.
It's Pink Friday 2021, and here's a message from one of our survivors.
Hello, I'm Robin Roberts, and I am happy to join the American Cancer Society in the fight against breast cancer. As a breast cancer survivor and proud Mississippi native, I'm honored to support Pink Friday, a fundraiser for breast cancer awareness. We all have a part to play in this fight. And by working together, one day we are determined to find a cure for breast cancer. Get your tickets now to support this wonderful event.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and for all those who's listening and watching it from around the world. And we are now live from the corner of Dalton and Lynch Street. It's the show where we take you inside the game before the game begins. It's the Pregame with your host, Charles Bishop and Neely. So get ready, because we pregame harder than the other show's party. It's the Pregame.
Shirt open, we still.
Yes, indeed.
I know it's loud, Chuck. We doing it, man. Hey, we in Miami, B-word.
There you go. There you go. Welcome to the 2022 football season as Jackson State gets ready to take on the Florida A&M Rattlers. It's the Pregame Show. Bishop and Neely, and I got the Don himself back there. Neely, what's going on, brother?
Hey, man, got the shirt open, showing a little taco meat on the chest. Got the retired Don, Mafia Don, who's relocated to Miami glasses. Got the Cuban stick out by the pool, palm trees behind us. Hey, man, this is what a way to kick off season 3 of the Pregame Show live from Miami.
Yes, no doubt about it, live from Miami. And you know what, Neely? The first thought that comes to mind is Muhammad Ali. The champs are here. It has been a long time, but Jackson State is the defending SWAC champion 2021. I tell you what, it was a tremendous season last season. First 11-win season in the history of Jackson State. First SWAC championship since 2007. Our Tigers went undefeated, 8-0 in conference play. First ever berth into the Celebration Bowl for Jackson State. And our Tiger fans averaged 42,000 last year. That was a tremendous season last year.
I want you to rewind something. I heard the 42,000 in the stands average, but I want to go back. Did you say defending SWAC champions?
There you go, defending SWAC champions. It's been a while, man. 2007, that was a sweet year last year.
2007, since we've been able to say defending SWAC champions. 11-win season. Let me tell you what the goal is this season, Chuck. I know we're going to get into it, but it's 13 wins this year.
Yes.
We want the 11 wins in the regular season. We want the SWAC championship game, and we want that celebration.
Well, I tell you what, the way these guys have been putting in their paces as we've been documenting during the course of summer 1, summer 2, fall camp, our Tigers are ready. Everybody's been asking me since I've been down here how they look. I think our Tiger fans are going to really, really love this team this upcoming season.
This time last year, Chuck, in a similar setting, by a poolside, Labor Day weekend in Miami, I told Tiger Nation that we had one of the greatest defenses in Tiger history. And everybody said, man, Neely, you're going too far. You done drunk the Coach Prime Kool-Aid. You're always talking with Dennis Thurman. You're crazy. We got too many legendary defenses for that to be true. By week 3, I had a couple more people on the bandwagon. By week 6, they was like, Neely, we were with you the whole time. So I'm telling you now.
They started believing.
I'm telling you now. And Shiloh Sanders, big headache, big C, headache, big 21 headache gang CEO. He said it on the sideline during the Orange Blossom Classic. He said, hey man, we got the best defense in the SWAC. And he said, scratch that, we got the best defense in the nation. By the end of the season, statistics bore out that Jackson State, not HBC, not SWAC, had one of the best defenses in the nation. Where am I going with all that, Chuck? Here's where I'm going. The 2022 defense is better than the 2021.
I'm going to pause, hit rewind on that. you said the 2022 defense is better than the 21 defense. The same defense that finished second in the nation in total defense was one of the tops in the nation in sacks, 54 sacks last season. You're saying this defense could be better?
I am saying that we have upgraded at every position: defensive line, edge rushing, linebackers, corners, and safeties. This defense is better with individual talents than we had on the defense last year. You now have a staff that has had a true season under its belt, not counting that spring season because that really wasn't their personnel. They've had a true season together. Now they've had a true off season together. We're going to get into what the changes have been made with strength and conditioning. A true off season together with installs, et cetera, et cetera. I am telling you that this defense, before a game has been played, is better than last year's defense.
Okay, cue up the fans. Neely, you're going too far. Hold on, Neely. Cue those guys up right now.
Hey, man, come on with the comments. Come on with the shade. Screenshot it, record it. As Chris Stugger say, take a picture. I don't give up. This defense is established. It is better than the one we had last year. And I know folks are saying, man, we lost James Houston. Yeah, but we picked up 4 more James Houstons. And quite frankly, the people out there saying that as we were sitting in Miami last year had no idea who James Houston was. And I don't even think James Houston got multiple tackles last year in Miami. You know, He didn't emerge into weeks 2, 3, and 4. We have some guys. This thing has really crescendo. We have some guys, man, that can get to the quarterback. Their off-season workout program, their training has been designed and built just to do that, to get to the quarterback. And I think you're going to see it, not week 5, week 7. I think you're going to see it from the snap. I think you're going to see it starting right here in Miami week 1 against FAMU.
No doubt, man. I tell you what, well, after a 43-year hiatus, the Orange Blossom Classic came back last year, Jackson State and Florida A&M. Our Tigers were able to come out on top in that game, 7-6. When you talk about some of the accolades that came from this game, it really set the tone for last season. But you take a look at it, freshman quarterback George Sanders, national spotlight, man. He was named the Jerry Rice Freshman of the Year after passing for 3,231 yards, 30 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions, and QB1 completed 68% of his passes.
And that was a freshman year. And I'm going to go back to the same references I used talking about that defense, and there's more to come. But now you have a guy who's a sophomore. Now you have a guy who has had a full off season. You know, he went through strength and conditioning. He played spring ball. He was there for summer 1 and summer 2. Yes, he has a new offensive coordinator, but his previous offense coordinator was still on staff. Coach T.C. Taylor's wide receivers coach. Coach Pollock is a pocket knife, as you want to call him, a Swiss Army knife, doing multiple roles with the tight ends offensive line and still fingerprints on that offense. So he has 3 coaches in that building that are familiar with his skill sets and how to get that to match the playbook. And the new offense coordinator, Brett Bartolone, just loves him. And I think you're going to see a more productive QB play. Going to be interesting week 1 to see can he start with that high confidence, which is going to be attributed and attached to the offensive line. You give this guy a little time where he can get that ball out of his hands, make his reads. I think QB1 of season 2, his sophomore year, is poised to exceed his numbers because now he even has more weapons out there on the outside.
No doubt. You touched on a name that before all our fans start saying, hey, y'all dwelling on the past, let's turn the page, 2022. There were some new pieces that have been added to this football team, and you touched on a name that'll be a hot name within Jackson State coaching circles. The new offensive coordinator, Brett Bartolone, last name Bartolone, folks. It is Brett Bartolone. He comes to Jackson State from Nevada, where he led the Wolfpack as an offensive analyst and assistant quarterbacks coach last year. But you're talking about an offense that was 15th ranked in terms of scoring in the nation. Quarterback Carson Strong from Nevada last year, won back-to-back Mountain West Conference Players of the Year 2020 and 2021. So comes with quite a lot of accolades. He has been schooled in this air raid system that we will be seeing on display tomorrow with QB1 under center.
Hey, let me tell you about the Jack State fans. If this thing works, we're with you all the time. We love you, Coach Brett. If the wheels start to wobble, man, what has Coach Prime done? It was working night to do it. We have talked to Coach Prime. I think the word you would use, Chuck, is ad nauseum. We have talked to Coach Prime ad nauseum about this decision. You take a team who went undefeated in conference, take a team who won the conference championship, and you change offensive coordinators. Well, what he is looking for is not just winning. He's looking to be dominant. He wants to put up major numbers. So last year we got out of here with a 7-6 victory. He wanted an installation of an offense that was capable of producing more points on the board. As he has said, he wants to use every light on every scoreboard of every place we play, including Memorial Stadium, Vet, or anywhere on the road. He wants to light the scoreboard up. So the change was not because something was working. He wants it working better. He wants dominance. So he put his feelers out. He even talked to Mike Leach up there at Mississippi State, and they gave him some names, and he talked about 3 people to narrow it down, and it ended up being Coach Brett to get the job, and even QB1 and some of the other coaches had a voice in that hire, because you can't just bring somebody in based off the resume. They have to fit the culture and fit the mindset and those kind of things. So that process unfolded, and here he is with us now. He's had an off season with us, to do his installations in the spring, and there was install 1 for one practice, install 2 going into the next week. So he wanted to get here to FAMU with that offense, understanding what his capabilities are and hitting on all cylinders. I think we're there. I think the offense, there's a command and a knowledge of it from the QB all the way out to the receivers, flank far out. So I'm looking for some numbers. I'm looking for us to put up more than 7 points this year at the Orange Blossom Classic.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was joking with Coach Bartolone today. I said, next to the head coach, the offensive coordinator is the guy under the spotlight. He said, bring it on. I'm looking forward to it. So, it's one of those deals where we're looking forward to what our Tiger offense can do this upcoming season, especially in regards to this up-tempo system that the air raid is.
Yeah, it's designed to put points up, man. It's designed to move the ball. And anybody who knows football or has watched football understands that is the meat and potatoes of what's going out there. It's tempo. The offensive line has to be in shape and condition. Got to have some depth with it because guys are moving the ball. It's getting snapped. You're not using all of that play clock, winding it down before you get the ball off. It is designed to attack the defense. And Coach Bartolone is known in his coaching circles as having a PhD in attacking. But we're going to get to see tomorrow how much attacking is really going to take place with this offense. So, as you told them, the lights get bright for that OC just like it does for head coach because we want points on the board.
No doubt, we want points on the board. So Coach Brett Bartolone joins this Tiger staff already with quite a few stalwarts to staff. But when we take a look, even more additions to this Jackson State football team for the 2022 season, Tim Brewster, former head coach at the University of Minnesota, he is also an addition to the staff.
He is, man, and he's become a fan favorite. But I'm gonna tell you this, and I don't even have the resume in my head or in my hand in front of me, but you just can't name Minnesota. The guy has been a lot of places in college football and in the NFL. We just saw North Carolina play FAMU the other day. He's been with North Carolina. He's been with national championship programs. The number of tight ends that he's had an impact on them, not only getting to the NFL, but the level of play that they do there. He's going to be a guest front row and center, when a certain NFL Pro Football Hall of Famer goes in next year, because he's sure to be a first ballot. So the guy knows how to get the most out of tight end play, whether it's blocking or in the reception phase of it. But more importantly than just a singular position, he knows what successful programs are supposed to look like. He knows when you drive on campus what it's supposed to look like. When you walk into the building, what it's supposed to look like. That's everything from the grounds maintenance, to cafeteria staff. Because like Coach Prime says, if you're a part of this program, you matter. And if you matter, you got to work to be held accountable. Well, you bring in a guy like a Tim Brewster, he knows what it's supposed to look like. He knows what they do. So you see him out there, he is digging deep into those tight ends, but that's not the only place that his fingerprints are on within this program. He's a special assistant coach to Coach Prime.
And recruit the elite football player in America. The elite football player.
Yes, indeed. You talk about Tim Brewster, always an affable guy in terms of whenever, I'm joking, but an intense personality, another intense personality of this coaching staff.
And, I've gotten into the comments, so y'all have suggested, Neely, you got to start reading the comments. And one of the funny comments I see about Brewster when I interview him is like, man, that guy does not understand personal space. Like, he gets right up on you when he is talking. And they are spot on. I don't care if he's coaching a player. I don't care if he's thanking somebody on staff or something. Your noses are damn near touched. Tim Brewster will get in your face, whether it's a positive or negative conversation.
No doubt, man. Looking forward to what Coach Brewster brings to this Jackson State team this upcoming season. And then you've also documented through the course of the year another addition to this Jackson State squad is strength and conditioning coach Mo Sims. Marty Sims comes to Jackson State from the University of Georgia, the national champion University of Georgia Bulldogs. And I tell you what, looking at how these guys' bodies have transformed over the summer has been nothing short of amazing.
Yeah, you can see it, man. Mo got here, late winter, early spring. And from then to now, you look at Niles Gaddy, who's not only faster, he got faster, now 15 pounds of muscle heavy. And you could just see Cam Selman is safe to Travis Hunter corner, even the leanness of QB1, Shadur Sanders. You can see the impact of that strength and conditioning program. And for everybody out there who wants to spell Maurice Sims' name with 2 M's, don't do it, because he will have you in the weight room punishing you. It's only 1 M in Sims. So he and I joke about that's his pet peeve when people give him 2 M's. But he came from the University of Georgia, national champions, as Chuck said, University of Georgia, their strength and conditioning program. Now he is the head man here at Jackson State because Coach Prime wanted us in better conditioning, wanted us in better shape. And that is all a part too, man, attached to this offense. Because one of the things you got to understand, Chuck, if this air raid, if you want to call it, works the way it's supposed to work, that means the defense is going to be out there more often than they were last year, because you're going to have quicker drives. You're going to have faster drives, which means the defense is resting for a short amount of time, which means their conditioning has to be higher. And you got to have depth on that side of the ball, too, just to keep up with that pace.
And I'm glad you mentioned defense. Let's take a look at the Jackson State defense here in 2022. You talk about from front to back. They have some guys that can really make some plays. You're talking about defensive lineman Devontae Davis, our linebackers, Aubrey Miller, Niles Gaddy, and then safeties Cameron Silman Craig, John Huggins. This group could be a very special group.
So get your pens out, Tiger Nation. Get your pencils out. Get your screen, record, ready, whatever you want to do. I'm going to give you a name to watch out for. Remember the name Jeremiah Brown.
Yes, sir.
JB, as they call him. Younger guy in that locker room, but a motor like you have never seen. Jeremiah Brown is going to turn some heads and make some noise in this conference, on this team, in the nation. And he's a guy that until now you probably never heard of. But his work ethic is off the charts. His motor is off the charts. Sometimes you have to take him out of the game, or as it would be practice, leading up to this, because he's just 110 every time. Sometimes you got to save him, from himself. But there are plenty of names like that. Barron Hobson, who's going to make an impact on plays on defense and special teams, is in that linebacker room. So, you got Auburn Mill out there, who's the lead dog, no doubt about it. But he has been augmented and underscored with some support. And that support is on par, and in some situations, greater talent to what he brings to the table. But they follow that bell cow in Auburn, so he's going to be out there. Just look for 45. But I'm telling you, Jeremiah Brown is another name you want to remember, because he's going to move from linebacker to even edge rushing sometimes, the same way that James Houston did last
year. And you brought up the name James Houston because I get a lot of questions in terms of defensively. How do you replace James Houston's production? And you touched on it. I mean, James Houston, 16.5 sacks last season, 10 quarterback hurries. This was a stat that really jumped out for me. 7 forced fumbles from one guy. How do you replace that, man?
I think you don't replace him with one person. You and I have used this example before on the show throughout the summer when we were updating the camps. Go look at that movie Moneyball when they were trying to replace Jason Giambi with the Oakland A's, and you did it by committee. Yes, we've lost James Houston. Had a good summer up there with the Lions and got signed to their practice squad, 6th round draft pick, so the 100th player drafted in JSU history, impactful player here. But now you have, if James Houston was getting 3 sacks a game, now you got 4 or 5 people capable of getting 2. You're going to end up with more quarterback hurries. You're going to end up with more tackle for losses. You're going to end up with more quarterback sacks than you had in just the one guy, because now you got people coming from different sides and up the middle. Another name to remember, Julius Reynolds, number 95.
Juice.
Juice ain't nothing to play with. And he's a guy that you never heard of before this year. Came in from Fresno State. His nickname is Crazy because his motor is crazy. So I gave you Jeremiah Brown. I'll give you Julius Reynolds. Remember these names. They're going to make an impact, and you're going to all of a sudden see like, okay, I see now we did replace James Houston. I see now we do have depth and talent and speed out there. So there's a plan in place, and there's talent in place to execute the plan.
No doubt. Let's transition now. Let's take a look at our opponent, our very worthy opponent. When we talk about Willie Simmons, Florida A&M Rattlers, when you take a look at what they did last season, 9-3, they made the FCS playoffs. They finished the season ranked as the #1 HBCU in the final NCAA power rankings. But their biggest win probably came against their arch rival, Bethune-Cookman. But you take a look at some of the pieces they had. They bring back Buck Buchanan Award winner, which is a National Defensive Player of the Year, SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, Isaiah Land. When you take a look at his production, he led the nation in sacks last year. But they do lose Marquise Bales, a young man who he on the 53-man roster of my beloved Dallas Cowboys. So kudos to him with regards to that. But you're talking about a team, they bring a lot of speed to the table. Not only Isaiah Land on the defensive side of the ball, but a young man by the name of BJ Bowler, another young man, Gentle Hunt. So they are a very worthy opponent. They're typical Florida speed. You know, you can really take a look at those Florida teams, and they are defined by speed. But looking forward to going against this Rattler offense and defense.
Yeah, you know, glad to see. Don't know how they did it, but glad to see they got everybody back eligible for this game. And so their roster should be, you know, intact. And so some of the guys who were there last year are going to be there for this game. They've missed the UNC game. So happy with those young people, because we want to face them at full strength, and don't want to see any young person, particularly the HBCU and the SWAC, lose any unnecessary playing time due to clerical errors or other nonsense or bull junk, as Coach Prime would say it. But when I look back to last year, I don't remember Isaiah Land sacking Shadur Sanders. I might have missed one, but I don't remember that. And I think our offensive line is better now than we were a year ago. Having said that, it's the reason the game was 7-6. You know, we faced a tough opponent. Yeah, it rained in the first quarter. Yeah, we had a freshman QB. Yeah, we had some questionable calls. But at the end of the day, it was a 7-6 game because they are good. They finished. I know they talk about this #1, whatever they claim to be, you know, in some poll here or there, but they finished #2 behind us for a reason. And after we played, neither team lost another conference game. So we're going into this game, and we're their last SWAC loss. You know, none of that is lost on me. And Chuck, they also made some staff changes. You know, they brought in Joseph Henry from his previous stop was LSU on the offensive side of the ball, a guy that Willie Simmons really trusts. They brought in a new running back coach who has wide receiver coaching experience. So look for their running backs to get involved in the pass game, because you brought in a receiver coach. You know, I don't think that's an accident that you hire a receiver coach to now coach running backs, because you want to be able to, you know, do some check downs and some dump offs. So that's going to have to be some eye discipline from our linebackers, you know, to not fall for the bait on those RPOs, because the ball could go anywhere. You got to stay disciplined home. But one thing I'm looking for both of these teams, and had breakfast with Coach Prime the other day, and he mentioned this too. As successful as Jackson State and FAMU were last year, they were still 2 of the most penalized teams in the SWAC in the nation. And a lot of people, when they hear Coach Prime talk about discipline, and they think it's off the field stuff, you know, acting silly on the plaza or getting in a fight in a nightclub or something like that. He's really talking about on the field discipline. Yeah. You know, because that's the one thing that can hurt us is it's 3rd and 5 and we jump off sides, you know, and then they end up getting a field goal out of a drive that was about to be over, and they were going to be punting, but they moved the ball and can now get in scoring range. Or it's 3rd and 10, and we make the tackle with an 8-yard gain, but it's a horse collar foul. We got to make sure that our emotions are in control. As Coach Prime likes to say, you play with emotions, but don't let your emotions play you. Say that again, because we had
say it again. There you go.
This is Coach Prime's quote the other morning. Got to play with emotions, but don't let your emotions play you. So it's going to be interesting to see these two teams, all the excitement for this game, been beating up on each other all summer. I know they had that UNC game, but all they've talked about is us for 12 months. Yeah. All they've talked about is, we shoulda, coulda, woulda beat Jackson State. Well, now, here's your chance. As Dennis Sherman said, here's your chance. We're back at this now again, less than 24 hours away from it. And I know they want this win just as bad as we do, but it's going to come down to who's disciplined, who's aligned, assigned, following that technique, listening to the coaches, and not making silly penalties that result in extra possessions for the other team.
Yeah, some names to keep an eye on for the Florida A&M Rattlers. Speedy wide receiver Xavier Smith. He's a preseason All-SWAC selectee. Other receivers, David Manigault, Jamari Sharif. But it was the Vanderbilt transfer, Jeremy Musa, last week, who took over the starting reins from Rashawn McKay for the Rattlers. He won 28 of 38, 279 yards against the FBS opponent in that loss against North Carolina. But I think we'll get into that a little bit, because that's going to be one of the keys to the game, is to get him, if you will, a little rattle back there and try to get him off his mark. But accurate passer last week and really showed a lot of improvement with that FAMU offense in terms of the way they were able to move the ball up and down the field against North Carolina.
Yeah, and the thing about it, Chuck, is they're looking to pass the ball. If you now that they have their roster back and you're able to look at stats from last season and roll in some of the stuff against UNC in that game with a slight asterisk personnel-wise, every team, including ours, they have some signs. It's like playing poker. They have tails. If you study the film and look at what they're doing, they have tendencies. You just got to learn what to look for. And when they're lined up to this day in 11 personnel, one running back, one tight end in the game, 62% of the time they're passing the ball. So if you just assume pass, even if you're wrong 38% of the time, you're right most of the time, just by the personnel grouping that they're in. And you can do the same thing with their run game. So our guys have been in that film and focused on that kind of thing. So these pre-snap indicators of who's on the field, position-wise and player, when you talk about individual players, you kind of get a tip-off of what they're going to do. But FAMU believes that even though you may know what we're about to do, now you got to stop it.
Now you got to stop it. Exactly. Well,
and before you stop it, Chuck, you got to trust your eye discipline. You got to believe. You got to believe what you're seeing. It's almost like day trading out there in the stock market. You got these indicators, but when you got money in, you really trust the indicators. Now you just saw you saw your value drop 25%, and it's a resistance line right there, and you get chump out and you sell it, but then it spiked right. You didn't trust your eyes. You didn't trust your discipline and your keys. So it's going to be interesting to see if our guys, when they identify that 11 personnel, one running back and one tight end in the game, do they trust it enough to believe what the coaches taught? That, hey, man, more than likely, they're going to pass. And they got trips out there, and they're going to hit the Y 30% of that time. Like, if do you trust it on a Sunday afternoon on national TV? It's one thing to trust it at practice. Mm-hmm. I tried to say it like Allen Iverson, like practice.
Practice?
But do you trust it in the game?
Man, how about coming to the pregame show for a little stock advice from old Uncle Billy, man?
Hey, man, that's how you retire in Miami, baby. You play the market, make a little money while you sleep, get you a nice cigar. Hyman Roth made all his partners rich.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But hey, all our Godfather fans, they will get that reference, okay?
Yeah.
And speaking of which, man, look at you. I see somebody's been taking notes in film room there, man. 62%.
Hey, man. It's tendencies, man. And I would believe, that FAMU spent the summer looking at our game tape. Willie Simmons ain't no fool. He got his SWAC hours. He's been around the SWAC before. They got a film room in Tallahassee. Every team has this, man. Every team has indicators of tip-offs. But it's the same thing. Are you going to be disciplined enough to believe and trust your speed? That's one of the things that set Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, apart. His time in the league, whether it was in Florida State or in the NFL, is he trusted his speed. He trusted his ability. He trusted what he saw in the film room. You saw it a lot with Ed Reed from the University of Miami when he would bait Peyton Manning into a throw. He would show that, hey, I believe you're going to do this, and he would do that quick spin and make it back to the other hash because he trusted he had the ability to do that. We got guys with the ability. Now we're going to find out tomorrow if they've learned to trust that ability and those installs and what the coaches have put into them about tendencies to look for when alignments take place or when certain personnel groupings are on the field, and within those groupings, certain individuals, because you do try to disguise it. You may be in 11 personnel, but now you want to look at, well, which running back is that? Or which tight end is that? So you got to have number recognition. So Chuck, it gets deep now.
Yeah, it gets very deep. It gets quite deep.
This ain't Sandlot out there where you got a quarterback for both teams and you're doing the play in your hand and say, all right, you go to the stop sign and turn back. Like it ain't that.
It gets deep. It's not just Madden. It is what it is. But you lead us right into keys to the game. Keys to the game in terms of a victory for Jackson State. You talked about trusting what your eyes see, discipline. What are some other key points that you kind of?
We have talked about offensive defense. I don't want us to miss out on special teams, man.
Yes, sir.
I don't want us to lose sight on our special teams play and what Coach Alan Ricard, does in that room. And once again, FAMU, they have some guys who want to get after. We did not give up a block punt all last season. And they bring their guys on the outside. They come to block. And so we got to be mindful of special teams. They have a directional punter on their team. He's either 43 or 42. I can't remember the number right now, but look for him because he can directionally punt, which is not a big skill set in the SWAC a lot of the time. Look for him to try to kick it away from Zay Bolden.
Yeah.
We faced some teams that all they could do was kick. So he would just go get it. But they got a guy who's like, okay, well, you over there, I'm going to kick it over here.
Right.
Well, if I were them and had a directional kicker, I would kick away from Zay Bolden,
Yes,
so,
indeed.
Sam, if you're watching the show, just make that note and give me credit for it. But, the problem is, here's the challenge. When you kick it away from Zay Bolden, because he led the nation and, All-American this and all SWAC that, preseason awardee. Hey, man, y'all ain't seen Willie Gaines, number 10.
Yes, sir.
Y'all ain't seen Kevin Colvin, number 3. You got to kick it to somebody. You got to kick it out of bounds or kick it to somebody. And Zay Bolden, if you want to avoid him, we got other folks now. We got other folks. So keep an eye out for special teams because we now have some guys that can make 40-yard field goals. All right? You heard it here. You got some guys that can make 40-yard field goals. You got some punters who can put it to the end zone or out the back of the end zone. You got some kickoff guys that can put it to the end zone or out the back of the end zone. So look at the impact that special teams is going to have on field position for these drives. I think that's one key that we really didn't deep dive on that I want our people to really look.
Yeah, and actually that was one of the bullet points that I had was special teams because you talk about the work Coach Alan Ricard puts in with that group. And interesting you say that the special teams aspect. I thought one of the better moves last season that I saw was Southern when we played them, how they made a point to directionally kick away from our deep guys, and they were willing to give us the field position. But now let's see what happens if you happen to do that.
Yeah. I mean, when you got a deficiency in speed or talent on special teams, so let me tell you this. And I'm going to make a blanket statement, and it doesn't apply to everybody. But in a lot of programs, special teams is where you dump guys. Mm-hmm. Special teams is where, okay, he's on the roster, he's made the trip, put him on special teams. The thing about Jackson State special teams, because of our head coach, because of our special teams coach, it ain't a place for guys that you just dump them. It's for guys that want to be there. Zay Bolden, when he came here from Florida State, you remember we interviewed him. He wants to return punts. Yeah. He wants to play special teams. It's not like he grew up, his dad is an NFL guy and grew up working with Coach Prime and Devin Hester. Yeah, he's a hell of a fine cornerback, but he wants to play special teams. Aubrey Miller is doing his thing in linebacker, but he wants to play special teams. And that's the difference that you're going to see. We don't just have guys just running down there. They got a skill set. And I would say, man, you give us a year or two, you might have a unit where they don't even play anything.
Yeah.
The one thing that we do now is you take an Aubrey Miller, he gets a lot of special teams time because, that's helping his NFL stock. So if he doesn't get picked up as just a linebacker, now he has another skill set that people are seeing. So, we do those kind of things here at Jackson State, but we got the talent, man, where, no, man, that's what you do. That's your thing. Go be great at that. Other programs, hey, man, I went to school with his mama, let him play kickoff.
and you talk about having those fresh legs on the special teams. That's pivotal once you get late in games for guys to still have those legs, either on offense or defense. So that'll be a huge key with regards to, I think, Jackson State getting this win tomorrow. And then, I think like all of our Jackson State fans, we're pretty excited. We've heard about Coach Brett Bartolone. We want to see what these new pieces are on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, let me tell you something. In Dennis Thurman, I trust. So.
Oh, man. Okay, let's get that on shirt. And Dennis Thurman, I trust. Hell, I'd be too scared to tell him I don't trust him. Exactly. If I didn't. I'm like the folks do with me. Hey, Dennis Thurman, I was with you all the time. I hope you look. I was with you all the time. Because the last thing I want is Dennis Thurman on my ass. Like Chuck said, he wasn't with you, DT. I'm with you all the time.
No doubt about it. Bastard Dennis Thurman, I tell you, he is a tremendous defensive coordinator. Well, as we take a look and start to wrap this show up, Jackson State final preparations here for the Orange Box Classic. We've been embedded with them in terms of taking a look at their last few practices. In fact, Warren Sapp stopped by practice the other day, offered some tremendous encouraging words, not only to the team, but to that defensive line, to Dave who was there. Michael Vick stopped by. These guys, Neely, they're focused. They have a chip on their shoulder that's really a boulder. They're excited. They're ready to get out there.
They're ready to get it out there. I'm ready to get out there. And as the sun drops, Chuck, I'm opening one more button just for the people at home. They go one more button for Tiger Nation, baby. Let's do it. Some people to keep an eye on JSU side of the ball. I talked about Zay Bolden, number 23. I think he's going to have an impact on special teams and playing on defense. Number 7, Cam Selman. You're going to look for him. Is going to step into that vocal leadership role on defense. Clearly has a talent. Got snubbed last year, I think, for conference awards. But look for him to be making some impact on offense, man. We know about Shane Hooks, but number 4, Dallas Daniels, new receiver. Look for Dallas Daniels. I think unit-wise, Tupac said all eyes on me. That's the offensive line. I think everybody's going to be looking at this O-line play. Totally new group out there. You had some people who were on this offensive line last year who didn't even make the trip this year. They couldn't even get on the plane because of this new group. So look to see that OL play and how it impacts our ability to run the ball when we want to versus when we have to. Just some things like that, Chuck. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I think that we have how do I want to say it? I think we have some great individuals on this team. Now let's see if this team can become a great team because of these individuals, because when you're doing strength and conditioning, man, that's you on that bench. When you're running, that's you out there running. Now you got to translate that into playing together. And just because you got great people, can those people become and play like a great team? And that's where we are right now.
That's where we are, man. It is all the time for talking is done. It's time to get out there on the field, man. It is 2022 football season. Jackson State Tigers defending SWAC champions. Neil, there's nothing else left to be said, bro.
I'll say something. I'll give a prediction. 1, FAMU will not score more than 3 times. That's including field goals. So that if they go 3 field goals, that's 9. If they do touchdowns, they'll max out at 21. I also think we will force 3 turnovers minimum. I think QB1, 4 touchdowns minimum.
That's about what I'm looking at. People have asked me, and I've said there has not been a team in the SWAC that has scored 3 times on this Jackson State defense. I don't think that's about to change. As I said, and Dennis Thurman, I trust. I'm looking at the score. I think we were copying off each other's notes, man. I'm looking at maybe 31, 35 points from Jackson State. Like I said, I'm not going to see 4 innings scoring more than 3 times on this. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. Hey, man. I'm about to enjoy a little bit of this Miami nightlife. A little bit.
Hey, man, Miami nightlife, the sun is setting. Got to fire up the cigar. We're bedded with the team tomorrow for those morning sessions, going to the stadium. Straight from the Tiger's mouth, we'll be back. Of course, those will be post-game productions, so those sideline interviews, player reaction when something happens, good or bad. Of course, we do halftime with Coach Prime and post-game with Coach Prime. So, hey, man, we're here. The season's here. 2022 season has finally arrived. No more spring ball, no more summer 1, no more summer 2, no more fall camp, whatever you want to call it. Man, we are here. We play football tomorrow.
We play football tomorrow. Looking forward to it. You know how we close out here on the pregame show in the immortal
with
words.
Me jumping in the pool? Because I'll do it.
I'm right behind you. It's warm down here, bro.
I'll do it.
Oh, we close things out, man, in the immortal words of Coach Edward Lipscomb. Coach Lip, we got a team by golly. We're going to fight by golly. We're going to win by golly. Tiger fans, looking forward to seeing you out there tomorrow. It's 2022 football season. Go Tigers.